we're going to go ahead and start off immediately with the game of the week, which is going to be when the Buffalo Bills came back to beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-28. Drew, I want to start with the winning team on this one, the Buffalo Bills. I know you have some stuff to say specifically about a certain quarterback that maybe got some heat this offseason and leading up to the season, and as early as just a couple of weeks ago. So why don't you go ahead and start off talking about the Buffalo Bills and your takeaways from them?
You know what? Josh Allen, he doesn't have any wide receivers. You hate the rookie that they drafted.
Correct.
You said they don't have any run game.
Yep.
And you think they're going to suck. But here we are. Josh Allen doesn't need any wide receivers. He doesn't need any running backs. He is the running back.
Yep.
He had 4 touchdowns, brought his team back from defeat like he always does. And at the end of the day, there's death, taxes, and Josh Allen. That's all I can say. and you can talk about the turnovers or whatever you want to talk about, but the fact of the matter is, when the lights are shining brightest and he needs to win, he wins.
Yep.
Unless he's playing Patrick Mahomes, then he loses. But so does everyone else. So let's just, we could set that to the side for now, because everybody loses to Mahomes, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, Josh Allen, something interesting. Allen only had 5 passes through the first half, and that's when the Arizona Cardinals were leading the game. Only 5 passes in that entire first half. And then coming out, I think the defense, obviously Josh Allen, did his things. He had 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries, 39 yards, and another additional 2 touchdowns, only 1 fumble lost. That was back in the first quarter of the game. Again,
strip sack fumble, by the way.
Strip sack fumble. The defense
Plenty
really
of
came
players
alive.
have strip sack fumbles.
Defense really came alive in the second half. Greg Rousseau, 6 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 quarterback hits. Also the highest graded player on the Buffalo Bills on either side of the ball by PFF. Someone interesting I want to talk about is Dalton Kincaid is kind of been a name brought up for discussion over and over again throughout the offseason. Hey, he's probably going to be the number 1 target. They have 2 tight ends out there, and the other tight end, Dawson Knox, was the number 1 tight end going into this game or coming through this game. Dalton Kincaid had a wide receiver usage less than Marvin Harrison Jr., which we will talk about, at only 4%, 1 catch for 11 yards on only 2 targets. I think we're looking at a Buffalo Bills team that's going to resemble a little bit like the last year's Packers, and the fact that a different receiver or tight end will emerge as the leader each and every week. 9 different receivers caught a pass from Josh Allen in this game alone. Josh Allen had a great game, obviously. I personally, I'm going to bring up when I'm right, and I'm going to bring up when I'm wrong. I had the Arizona Cardinals potentially winning this game. But, Josh Allen came through, picked it up, and he put the team on his back and he won the game. On the Arizona Cardinals side, what do you make of them and what's going on with them? Specifically talking about Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr., what's going on with him?
Real quick, who led the Bills in targets?
Keon Coleman.
Oh, yep. Keon Coleman.
Led the team in receptions, targets, and receiving yards. Yes.
How many catches did Marvin Harrison have?
He only had 1 catch.
Listen, I'm gonna set the Bills aside. I'm a big believer in the Bills. I'm a big believer in Josh Allen. The haters are gonna hate. That's fine. They're just jealous. This is the thing with the Cardinals, is this is what they're gonna do every week. They are going to give these teams the best shot they can.
Yeah.
They might finish this season with 4 wins. They might finish this season with 5 wins. But you better pack your bags and come to work the Sunday that you have to face the Cardinals, because Kyler Murray is healthy. He's dynamic. James Conner is a beast. Trey McBride is a beast. These dudes, they might have 7 or 8 losses this year where, look at this game, they were winning at one point. If they had a little bit more talent on certain sides of the ball, they might have put it away. But the Marvin Harrison Jr. thing to me it's very, very simple. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not play for Georgia last year. He did not play for Alabama last year. He did not play, the teams that he's playing. The cornerbacks that were guarding Marvin Harrison Jr. last year are insurance salespeople today. They are car salespeople today. No offense to anybody that sells cars, scumbags. Now Marvin Harrison, you know what he didn't do all offseason? He didn't play in any preseason games. He didn't do anything. And
Only
now,
three snaps in the preseason.
Now he's going up against corners that are making $8 to $12 million, going up against Pro Bowl corners every week. He's getting the best guy on the other side. He's getting the whole defense schemed to him, and he didn't play all preseason. What, we just thought this dude was going to come out and go for, 8 catches for 140 yards and 2 tutties? Not going to happen. The NFL is hard. It is very hard. You don't just get to sit on your ass all preseason, not put the time in, not put the reps in.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. Every season we see this where these players don't play in the preseason. We are probably going to talk about Caleb Williams later. We can talk about Brandon Ayuk drops a touchdown in the fucking end zone because he wasn't getting his reps in all training camp. Brandon Ayuk is a seasoned player who already had the chemistry. Marvin Harrison Jr. has 0 in-game chemistry with Kyler Murray. You haven't played any schemed defense. These guys are just running out cover 2 or cover 3 or man coverage or whatever. They're not even blitzing. And then you just expected him to pop off the page. Marvin Harrison laying a dead this week. I could have seen that coming from a mile away. Nevertheless, he'll get better. He's a stud. He's going to be good. And the Cardinals are going to be a handful all season. I don't look forward to our 2 games against them this year.
Yeah, I had the same type of takeaway as well. 3 targets, 1 catch for 4 yards, and he had a drop as well on those targets. He looks like he's not trusted in the offense yet in this season, and a lot of that has to go into getting the reps. Only 3 snaps in the preseason. Most of his receiving snaps looked like he was an X receiver on the back end. He wasn't really targeted. He definitely was not the first read on most of the play designs. So that's kind of where we stand with Marvin Harrison Jr. The leading receiver for this team this week was Greg Dortch, 6 receptions, 47 yards. Now on the other side of the ball, you had Mack Wilson and Zaven Collins having a pretty good game, each individually getting 9 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. They were the 2 highest graded players on the Cardinals together. The Cardinals overall, looking at the game, they looked really good in the first half with a good game through the air and on the ground. James Conner looked really good, being involved in the game plan overall, again, both on the ground and in the air. In the second half, completely different. Their biggest positive in the air turned into their biggest negative. They really couldn't get anything going. Kyler Murray being pressured multiple times. Already talked about Greg Rousseau's 3 sacks. Those 3 sacks came in the second half of the game, along with Von Miller as well getting a sack. So, and then Kyler also fumbled. So those things go into the Arizona Cardinals offensive line. Listen, they have a really talented quarterback. They have a young prospective wide receiver, a very young, good tight end, but they have some holes on the offensive line, and they have a lot of holes in the defense. This is, just like Drew said, going to be a competitive team. May only win a couple of games this season. Maybe I think their ceiling's probably about 7-ish, maybe 8-ish at the max, but they're going to be competitive at the very least. So I think that's the takeaways for the game, looking at both sides of the ball. Drew, do you have anything to say about the game of the week before we move on to our next segment?
No, just if you weren't able to catch it, go just check out some of the highlights from this game. It was very exciting. It was very back and forth, and there was not very good quarterback play this season, this week 1. Obviously, I think that's probably to be expected. A lot of these quarterbacks aren't even playing in the preseason. Frankly, training camp and the preseason has turned into not even anything worth watching, except for the fact that we're rabid fans. So some adjustment is going to be expected. But go back and watch this game because it was high level. It was back and forth, and it was definitely fun to watch Josh Allen put the team on his back and carry him to a W.